Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Unlocked, the podcast that inspires you to create a successful, happy and positive life, but ultimately to live the best version of you. Hosted by me, Ricky Log, professional magician, speaker, trainer and a man who is destined to find out who is H in Line of Duty. Yes, the new season is out and I can't wait to see if H will be revealed this season. So this episode is titled as Say Yes Then Learn How to Do It Later. It is an idea that I want to discuss and share with you because it is an idea that I've been using for a long time in my career, my business and my life as well. Because I think there are fantastic opportunities that are always around and we sometimes probably turn them down because we don't have the knowledge required, we don't have the tech support. That's something that happened to me last year, definitely. And sometimes we don't do it just because we have a bit of a fear. So I wanted to take this into a bit of a context really and talk about some stories, talk about some inspiration and talk about a funny story that happened to me last year where I've used this technique of saying yes, then working out how to do it later on. But I guess to start off with a great quote by Cheri Brenton. Now I'm reading his book at the minute called Losing My Virginity, which is a fantastic book for any entrepreneurs out there. I would highly recommend it out. The man is an inspiration and he has famously said, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you are not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. Now, of course, this is all about taking risks and it's important to take some risks. They say that every day you should do something that scares you. But I want to share a story with you that I've used this idea of saying yes and learning how to do it later on. So about 6 years ago, I started learning hypnosis and this was more for hypnosis for entertainment. So close-up entertainment where I was getting people to have their hands stuck on their head. They could forget their names. They could think that I was Michael Jackson. Yeah, it's a really funny story, but it was a really great technique. And as I started to learn this, I started to share videos on YouTube and social media. And people started to see this and thought, oh, this is really cool. Hypnosis is a really cool thing to add to the belt of magic and pickpocketing. And somebody asked me, Ricky, would you like to come do a hypnosis show in front of a live audience? Now at this point, bearing in mind, it was about 6 years ago, I'd only just started to learn hypnosis and I'd probably hypnotized about 3 or 4 people, right? Now at this point, I'm thinking, well, this is an amazing opportunity. I'm a magician, I love being in front of audiences, and do I want to turn this down? Now, logically and rationally in my brain's thinking, well, Ricky, yes, you've hypnotized a few people. You haven't hypnotized maybe 10 people on stage. Is a stage magician that much different? Maybe you could do it, maybe you can't. And when you start to break it down and thinking about, well, hang on a minute, what about the logistics? Is there something different? Okay, yeah, maybe I've got to do something with music. Maybe I've got to learn a little bit different of hypnosis. Could I actually do this? Well, if you think about it, yes, I could. Because I'd learned hypnosis from scratch. I'd learned hypnosis from not doing it. So maybe there was a possibility of doing this. And I said yes. I said yes to the amazing opportunity. A bit of a white lie, I guess. I did say, yes, I can do this for you. Now, there's a funny story, actually, because when you do hypnotize people, when you first start out, if you used to hypnotize someone and say to them, I've only hypnotized just one person, probably they're not going to really trust you or think that you're a credible source that you're going to hypnotize someone. Now, if I was to say to someone, yes, I've hypnotized thousands of people and every single one of them has woken up, not one of them is now barking like a dog or clucking like a chicken, right? They probably have more trust in me. Now, obviously, lying is not a great thing, right? And it might sound like a white lie, but the perception here for that person that wanted to book the show was they saw something that they liked and they wanted to book a show. And I just thought, well, yeah, I'll say yes and then work out how to do it later on. And that's exactly what I did. At that time, as I said, I'd only hypnotized about 3 or 4 people and it wasn't much different to doing it on stage than it was just with 1 or 2 people solo. So all I did was I said yes to the opportunity. I think I had about 3 months before the actual stage show actually happened. And all I did was I just spent the time to research, practice, do things in the background. And I have to say the show went down an absolute storm. It was absolutely hilarious. I loved it. It was fantastic. And I even made someone think that I was invisible, which is a truly spectacular thing when you hypnotize people. But anyway, the reason I wanted to say this was because there are many things running a business or in life that you might have an amazing opportunity that arises and we may just turn it down just because we're not quite sure how we can do it. We might not have the knowledge to do it. And I think that we're missing out on a huge opportunity. As I said, it is about taking risks. But remember, great things never came from comfort zones. And if you think about it as an earlier message that I've said from Paul McGee, which is the idea of, is your comfort zone acting like a strait-jacket? Sometimes we might need to just take off that comfort zone as a strait-jacket and take a few risks. Now, I know what some people are thinking. Those logical thinkers out there might be thinking, well, that's never going to work, right? Now, of course, I totally get the idea. If someone said to me, Ricky, could you come and plumb in my bathroom? Of course, I'm not going to say yes to that opportunity and work it out because I'm not a plumber, of course, right? And there are a couple of things that maybe might be out of your remit to do. However, in the case for me, when I was doing a hypnosis stage show, I kind of got the basics and the foundations there. So it just meant that I just had to work on a few extras. So absolutely, don't say yes, just be a yes man to everything. There are a few things that you probably cannot do. But sometimes if you're in your head, you think that, well, yeah, maybe that's where I want to be, or maybe that's where I want to aspire to. So that's what I did. I wanted to do a stage show. The opportunity arose, and I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity. Yeah, I haven't got the experience. I haven't done any stage shows at all. But if I don't try it, then how am I going to know it's going to work, or how will I ever do it until you try it? And I think sometimes that we just kind of procrastinate. And if you procrastinate, you will wait forever. Sometimes we will think that we may need to be an expert in that field. But sometimes the art of mastery takes forever. Now, if I was to be an expert at being a stage hypnotist, I'm probably going to wait until about 50, 60 years old, right? And then I'm going to be calling back to say to that opportunity, yeah, I'm ready for the stage show. And they'd say, yeah, we're not doing it anymore, right? So there is an art of procrastination where sometimes we can get so transfixed in our minds thinking, well, I can't do that just yet because I'm not ready. I don't have the skills for it yet. Or, yeah, I'm not quite ready yet. I've got this bit down, but I've not mastered this bit. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because for me, a deadline, like for procrastination, having a deadline works really well for me. So saying yes to that opportunity then meant I had about 3 months to work out how to do it. If it was a case of saying, Ricky, we're doing a stage show tomorrow, back in that experience that I had, of course, that I probably would have never been able to do that, right? But because it allowed me 3 months to work on it, I just thought, well, you know what? I'm going to say yes to this and I can work it out. And also, if you think about it, what's the worst thing that could happen? If I'd have got to that event and thought, well, do you know what? I'm not quite ready for it. I just would have turned it down or just cancelled the event, said I was ill or something like that, right? But what it did, it put my brain into a state of focus that allowed me to just work towards that goal. So like Richard Branson says, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later on. Take a risk. What is the worst thing that could happen? And just remember, great things never came from comfort zones. It's how we learn. As I've said in previous episodes, sometimes we need to take a bit of a risk, take a little bit of a fear factor, and just, if something fails, don't worry. That is a measure of winning because what you've done is you've tried something. That is the measure of success. The fail is not that measure. The real measure is that you tried something and you're going to use that as a stepping stone to get better in your success path. And as Richard Branson says as well, opportunity favours the bold. So there you go. Next time something comes up like an amazing opportunity, say yes, then learn how to do it later on. I promise you, it will make you more braver, more bolder, and more successful things will happen because if you wait, you could be waiting for a long time. So take that risk and just remember, great things never came from comfort zones. Say yes and learn how to do it later on. So there you go, that's my short episode this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Say yes, learn how to do it later on. It's a fantastic idea and it's something that I've been doing for a long time. It helps me be brave, it helps me be bold, and it allows me to create more success more quickly because it's just creating an opportunity for me. But there we go, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you did enjoy this episode, then please head over to Apple Podcasts, click that 5-star rating and leave a lovely review. It helps this podcast get out to more listeners, and let's share this podcast to inspire more success and to help people live a positive and happy life. Thanks for listening, and I will join you on the next episode of Unlocked. Goodbye.